We got to look at some fresh thinking here. I mean, what we're seeing right now is not working. There's no question about it. And yes, is there more I can do? Have I attempted not only to respond to behavior we've seen, but send a clear message that we're going to be scrutinizing everything we see going forward? Absolutely. But I don't think that's the way to manage this system long term of I know it when I see it, or people in the league office. It'll lead to very unhealthy relationships between us and our teams.
If I could follow up.
Sure.
Is there any talk of taking draft picks away from teams that do this as opposed to finding them?
There is talk about every possible remedy now to stop this behavior.
And welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. To my right, your left is Chad Bryan. I am Eli Moon. And welcome in again to another episode of Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Got a lot to get into here. And Chad, without getting too much into the sports news, we got NBA All-Star stuff to talk about, the Olympics. The Browns made their way into the news. Yeah. First off, how was your weekend? And welcome back to another episode, another week here of some prime time.
Good to be back. Yeah, not canceled yet, not fired yet. We're doing pretty good.
No,
it was good. Weekend was good, man. Valentine's Day, did some family stuff for Valentine's Day. Had some fun. Whatever. Went out to dinner. It was good. It was warm. It felt kind of springy, even though the snow and ice are still everywhere. It's gonna take a while to melt, but that's all right, man. How was your weekend?
Very good, very good. Yeah, I got a lot done. Got the album coming up in 2 weeks, so just getting that ready, getting the album release show all geared up at Brothers Lounge over there in Lakewood. So getting ready there, and then just enjoying the Olympic coverage, just chilling out with Papa Moon. Enjoyed another episode of Real Talk with Papa Moon. He had locally grown on this past Saturday, so that was really cool. Just doing well, man. Excited to get back in the saddle here. We got we just did main event yesterday. Went to war with Rob Rizicki and Double A yesterday, which usually me and Double A are on the same page. Usually Rizicki every now and then. So, with that being said, give me 1 second here.
You got it.
Oh, I have Papa Moon coming down there. Papa Moon, you want to make an appearance? He's saying it's too dark in here. All right, anyways, everybody. Yeah, all right. So he's flipping the lights on here on the fly. But yeah, let's get into it right away here.
I thought you were at the Olin Mills studio when you looked off into the distance. I thought you were going to take a family portrait.
Yeah, well, Papa was just gearing me up here as we have another segment here to debut, which is Monday Melee. So, Chad, there we go. Now we got the lights. See, he was coming in out of nowhere. Crazy. All right, we got Monday Melee coming up here. So I'm going to give you 4 different stories, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to choose which 2 stories you want to dive into the most, and the other 2 we'll just kick to the side to the wayside for another episode. So with that being said, we have 4 stories. We're going to get into them. The 4 are Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, the Dolphins cutting Tyreek Hill, U.S. Canada in the women's semifinal, or March Madness, which is just a month away. We got some interesting stories there. So which 2 would you like to talk about?
Wow, that's tough. Well, okay, I think we have time to push off March Madness, but I feel a little bad not talking about it. I don't know. I feel like we should mention Miami of Ohio men's basketball team. They're 25-0, and they may not even make the tournament, Eli. That's a thing we should talk about. But we have time for that. We have time. U.S. and Canada and women's hockey squaring off for the gold medal. It's a huge story. It happens Thursday, right? Thursday afternoon is the game.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't want to push that off, but I feel like, again, we have time for all this stuff. How do I pick? What do I pick?
I don't know. It's up to you.
Let's talk about Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather. And let's talk about what was the second story again?
Dolphins cutting Tyreek Hill. Dolphins cutting Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, we could talk Tyreek Hill if you want.
All right.
We'll talk about let's talk about women's hockey tomorrow night, or maybe we can fit a quick blurb in later when we do some Olympic coverage. I feel bad pushing that off. It's a huge deal, but it's also the 7th out of 8 times for the gold medal match that the U.S. has played Canada, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it's just like what we all expect a little bit, right? I don't know.
Yeah, the gold medal match. I think I misspoke there and said semifinal of a gold medal match. So yeah, we could definitely talk about it later on this week. But definitely need to get to it. Let's start with Tyreek Hill then. It sounds like
Okay.
the Tyreek Hill in the news there of the Dolphins parting ways. Adam Schefter reported that the Dolphins are going to cut Tyreek Hill. And this kind of signals a new start for the Dolphins, right? Jalen Waddle taking kind of the lead as the wide receiver 1 the last year. And now they have an opportunity to kind of see what they can do this offseason. No Mike McDaniel there, a whole new wave with a whole new coaching staff. So we'll kind of keep an eye on there. But for Tyreek Hill, I think this is the bigger story. Where is he going to wind up? It's going to be Kansas City going back there with Mahomes when he gets healthy. Is it going to be Baltimore maybe giving Lamar Jackson a weapon? Buffalo, Josh Allen? I mean, what do you think? What do you think, Chad? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, okay, so I tried to compile a list of teams where I thought it made sense for him to go. Kansas City was the first team on my list. It just, getting Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce back together. Eric Bieniemy is going back to Kansas City. It kind of made sense to me. I thought, man, they had a ton of success the first time around. That made sense, right? I mean, I thought that was good. And then I tried to think of what my computer is doing right now. Wow. Okay. It just opened up like 3 different things. I didn't do a thing.
We're both having technical difficulty. I had a Papa Moon appearance, threw me completely off at the top of the show. We're off to a booming start this week. All right, go ahead.
My computer just opened up like 3 different windows all at the same time. So that was fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. I've been hacked. No. Okay. So I thought Buffalo was a good spot too. Their leading receiver was Khalil Shakir with under 800 yards receiving.
Yeah.
It just felt like they ran out of offense a little bit, right? I mean, Josh Allen turned the ball over 16 times in that AFC, not the game against the Broncos. I felt like that didn't really help, obviously. Man, where? Chargers, I thought maybe. Mike
Could be
McDaniel's there,
interesting.
some scheme familiarity. Justin Herbert, by the way, in doing some of this research, I found out an interesting thing about Justin Herbert. Did you know that he has 24,820 passing yards through his first 6 seasons in the NFL?
What? I did not.
Well,
I did
guess
not.
what? That's not even the crazy thing. That's second all time through 6 seasons to Peyton Manning, who has him by about 65 yards. I thought that was crazy. Granted, it was a different game when Peyton Manning was playing, and Manning threw the ball a ton. For what the game, and now the game's changed a little bit, but I mean, it's not like the Chargers are an air raid offense. I mean, they run the ball well, and I just thought, man, Justin Herbert is really like quietly doing some things. I mean, we just finally like started talking about him as like a top 3, top 4, top 5 quarterback in the NFL, and here he's second all time in passing yards through 6 seasons. I thought that was crazy. What about the Raiders, Eli?
Yeah, I mean,
Genti and Brock Bowers. You got Fernando Mendoza likely coming in. I mean, does he fit there?
I'll tell you what. A team that you're not thinking about, and we're going to talk about them a lot next segment, is the Cleveland Browns. I
Okay.
know they don't have a ton of money. I get it, but maybe Tyreek Hill sees the value in wanting to come here to work with Shador. We don't know how other players feel. I know there's a lot of people in Cleveland, that don't necessarily like Shador or are not the biggest fans or for whatever reason, but there's players in the NFL that definitely want to come play with Shador Sanders. And I think it'd be interesting to at least entertain what Tyreek Hill would look like here as the wide receiver 1, putting Judy to the wide receiver 2 position. We'll keep an eye on that, but I don't know about the Raiders. I think Chargers seems interesting, but I really think it's either Chiefs or the Ravens with Buffalo as a long shot.
What
But
about the Patriots? The Patriots need some. They need explosiveness in that passing game, right?
And we'll keep an eye on Stephon Diggs, obviously with the court stuff going on. Keep an eye on that and see if they do really need a wide receiver 1. But yeah, it's going to be interesting for Tyreek Hill. He kind of gets to dictate his last really run of his career here, I mean, he is now at this point 31. He'll be 32 on March 1st.
That's crazy. You remember his
so-
first 2 years in the league? He was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. It started off as a kick returner, punt returner, and then just like really morphed into like this star that we're seeing today. And Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. So Tyreek Hill going to dictate where he goes next, and that's our first story. The second story here, Chad. I know you, like you said, we're going to talk about USA Canada, the women's hockey final, the gold medal match later on this week. We have some March Madness we could talk about as we get ready for March here coming up very soon.
Yeah.
But we definitely need to get into this story then, which is Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather. Their exhibition fight has been moved to April 25th in the Congo.
Yeah.
So two of the elites of all time, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, known for two different fighting styles, really. Mike Tyson knocking people out. Floyd Mayweather, the best defensive boxer of all time, probably.
Yeah.
What do you make of this? They're fighting April 25th in the Congo. It's going to be an exhibition match, so probably it seems like there's no like knockdowns or like knockouts, really. You know, they're going to keep it safe for both involved. But are you excited? Are you watching Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather?
I mean, I think I'm intrigued just for the fact that you're putting two completely different fighting styles and two different size guys, for that matter, in their career together in the ring. I wonder if Mike Tyson will have the same restrictions as, you know, the Jake Paul fight, where it looked to me like Tyson was holding back multiple times during that fight. It looked like there were times where he could have taken advantage of a couple of openings that Paul left and didn't do it for whatever reason. I think he even physically stopped a punch at one point. I mean, you know, you're not used to seeing Mike Tyson literally, not even figuratively, pulling punches. But, you know, that was a weird look to me. And I've seen, this is a polarizing thing, by the way. Have you seen any of the comments on social media about this?
Yeah, not good.
I mean, a lot of people actually really hate. Some people love it. That's why I said polarizing. But a lot of people are really, really against this. And I mean, listen, this isn't like the heavyweight like title match. Like everyone's like, oh, this is going to ruin boxing. It's boxing's already kind of ruined, right? I mean, name a heavyweight.
Mike Tyson. Now keep in mind, Mike Tyson 59, Floyd Mayweather 48 years old.
Yeah.
Both retired from boxing. But it will be interesting. It is two of the greats, and I guess if they're just gonna square up and see, you know, but you're not really getting the ultimate test of if Mike Tyson can knock out Floyd Mayweather. Now, can he at 58 years old or you know 59 years old? I don't know, but it would have been interesting to at least see if they were actually scrapping. I think it'll be fun for what it is. The entrances, the aura of seeing them in the ring together.
Especially
I think that'll
Mike
be
Tyson.
the
It's just amazing. Yeah, it's such a spectacle.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. That'll be interesting in itself, but that's April 25th. We'll see if it's they haven't announced, it seems like, if it's on Netflix or not. I'd imagine it's going to be on Netflix though. It seems to be like where all the big like marquee matchups nowadays are. Maybe they'll do it on pay-per-view, but we'll see. Keep an eye on that.
We'll see. Yeah.
So, that is our Monday Melee. We will have 4 stories every Monday, and we'll kind of just run through them and kind of get them out of the way, and give our breakdown here. And then the other 2 will go to the wayside till next time we address them. Now,
and again, not that those other stories aren't important.
Yes.
You know, I feel like we could. They're a little bit more. You know, they're a little more poignant later in the week, I guess, right?
Yes. The women's hockey one's gonna be good. The gold medal match. We'll talk about that as it gets closer to that matchup, and then March Madness a little bit later on. All right, so that was a little bit of an easy one for you, Chad. But here's what we will do before we go to a break. I do want to ask you. I know you didn't get a ton of time to watch too much of the All-Star game, but did you get at least a chance to see some of the highlights or anything? Did you get a moment to see any of that?
Yeah, and now I kind of regret not carving out that time to watch. I had forgotten about the format change. To be perfectly honest with you, I completely forgot. I texted you. You said, "Are you watching the All-Star game?" I said, "No. Let me know when somebody hits 300 points, though." You know, I was just curious. Yeah. I just was assuming it was going to be the old format, right? Where it's a glorified game of horse, right? People just take free shots. There's no defense. I was wrong. They played plenty of defense. It sounds like it was actually pretty amazing, man. And I missed that. I missed the 3-point contest. I missed the dunk contest. And I was out with the family. Just missed those things. Didn't purposely steer clear of watching them or anything. It's just, you know, sometimes you gotta peel yourself off the TV and you know, remind your family that you're alive and that you like to be with them, right? So yeah, I was just doing the family thing. So I took this weekend to kind of first weekend without football. I just sort of didn't watch that many sports at all. I didn't do anything really, to be honest with you. Watched some Olympics, you know, caught up on some things that were going on there, but that's about it. Yeah, I didn't really catch much of it. How was it? I mean, everybody's been raving about it, Eli. Is it that good?
It was pretty good. And, I think Victor Wembanyama being so passionate about losing and seeing his team go down was something to see. And the next generation guiding that maybe the All-Star game is going to be back a little bit more competitive. The format was cool, too. I mean, they did like the round robin where eventually it was stars versus stripes, and that was a good game. Now, the finale was not good. The old guys got tired. But other than that, it was real good. I thought it was entertaining. And for the years past to this one, I think this was probably one of the better ones the last 5-10 years. So I thought it was good. And Saturday, All-Star Saturday was a little rough. But, I mean, there were some interesting things. Damian Lillard winning the three-point competition on one leg, off of rehab from his Achilles. And just think some cool stuff that happened there. And ultimately, it's just shining a light on the game. And as long as, nobody gets in trouble during the game or, nobody gets hurt, then that's all that matters. And I think this is probably the closest format they'll have to being a successful format that's going to have them play hard, but also not have them, feel like they're doing too much during the game. They only play for 12-minute games. So each team played at least 2 games, so it's 24 minutes, playing roughly about 20 minutes, if you sub out. So you're really not playing that much. You're playing about roughly a game, when it all breaks down. That's my take on the All-Star game. It wasn't anything like crazy, but I thought it was a lot better than people were giving it credit for when it was unveiled. And when it did happen, it was cool to see, LeBron was excited about it. Kevin Durant was excited about it. Talk about how the world doesn't care. Luka and Jokic didn't care about it. And then just seeing, like I said, Wembanyama getting frustrated. Anthony Edwards having fun, having some late-game heroics. De'Aaron Fox hitting a game winner. Just cool stuff. Donovan didn't have the greatest of showings, but he did help out with the assist on the game winner to De'Aaron Fox. So we'll take that as Cavs fans. We'll take that,
There you go.
So we'll take that.
Maybe a little foreshadowing. Maybe he finds James Harden for a game winner in a big moment, and we remember, hey, remember back in the All-Star weekend?
Hey, you know what? I love it.
Who knows?
With that being said, we are going to take a quick pause here, Chad. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns. They have made their way back into the news cycle with some two very completely off two sides of the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Like stories. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we're on the same page. And then
Sure.
later on, we'll talk about our Olympics thoughts and just put in some loose ends. We don't want to take credit, and we are not happy that this happened, but we were ahead of the news cycle with Kansas State and the situation out there with head coach Jerome Tang, now former head coach. So we'll talk about that at the end of the show too.
Yep.
Before we get into any of that, Chad, I know the holidays passed. There is still a great offer though right now with Alley Rose Fragrances, our newest sponsor of the Inside Edge Network. If you go and use the code InsideEdge20, capital I, capital E, InsideEdge20, you can go ahead and get 20% off of your entire order. She has candles, body mist, like aromas, just make it smell good. Going with the spring season, the window's going to be opening up. You put that candle and it starts like really circulating. Now you got some business going on, okay? So 20% off the entire order. Some awesome candles, awesome body mists. 20% off your entire order. And that's still running with the Inside Edge 20 discount code. So just want to let the people know out there. I know you've probably already taken advantage. And I don't know if you could take advantage more than once. We haven't found that out yet. But, hey, if you can, why not,
And if you just listen, if you can't, that's all the reason to order as many as you can the first time you visit, right? Like I don't know. You never know.
Exactly.
I should get mine tomorrow. I'm excited, Eli. I can't wait. They should be here tomorrow.
Well, hey, we'll have to see them during prime time if you get them in before then.
Absolutely.
But yes, we're going to go ahead and take a quick pause. We're going to put the code up here with Alley Rose Fragrances. Shout out our newest sponsor of the Inside Edge Network. 20% off your entire order. Inside Edge 20 is the code. That is Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I'm Eli Moon. This is Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network, and we're back right after this. And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon. And yes, we are back here with another segment here on this Monday edition. Had a lot going on there, that opening segment, Chad. We persevered. I had Papa Moon interfere, but shout out Papa Moon. He caught me off guard, but he's like, hey, your lights aren't on. And, you know, that's how the start of the week goes. And then, yeah, I don't know, your laptop or your computer was yeah.
Still
right.
don't know what happened there, but hey, all right.
Cool. All right, we're back at it. All right, the Cleveland Browns made the news today. A few different things going on. Where would you like to start? The crazy or the
Well, which one's which? I guess the crazy. You always start with the bad news first, right?
Yeah, all right, we'll start with the bad news.
Okay.
We'll start with
so
the bad news.
defensive coordinator. No, that's not the bad news. Sorry.
Okay. I was like, okay, took it. All right. Cleveland Browns safety Ronnie Hickman assaulted an NYC on Monday. Chad, your thoughts on this? This broke, and you kind of brought this to my attention. So I do Channel 19 News here in Cleveland, but then the Browns had reported it obviously themselves. What do you think of this?
I mean, these things happen sometimes in bigger cities. You run the risk of being the wrong place, wrong time, right? And I guess the universe doesn't care if you're an NFL football player or if you're just the average Joe or whatever. Yeah, Hickman. It sounds like he was. I don't know. It said assaulted first, and then it said robbed. I'm not sure if there was any actual. I don't think he had any injuries. Maybe minor. There's not a whole lot of information other than the fact that he was just, I guess, approached by a group of 4 males, and either assaulted, robbed, mugged, whatever you want to say. Again, not a ton of information. We can keep you updated as we go, as we find out a little more information. I kind of feel like this is going to be one of those things where, I don't know. I mean, the likelihood of catching 4 guys in New York City, I don't know. I mean, if they were caught on camera, maybe if they have a positive identification for somebody, but I don't know. I mean, it just seems like just another thing to add to the Browns off-season whatever, right? It's been an off-season of very just, I don't even know the word to describe it, to be honest with you. It's just there's a lot of instability, there's a lot of unknowns, right? And it just kind of feels bad, I mean, I know nothing happened to him. Thank goodness he's okay. Not seriously injured. It wasn't, nothing bad happened really, other than I'm sure that was not a pleasant experience, but he's okay. And I guess that's the takeaway going forward. Some people might ask, what are you doing up at 4:30 a.m.? But I mean, hey man, he's young. It's New York City, right? It's a city that never sleeps, man. So I don't know. I mean, what do you do in New York City,
Yeah, and you just don't know, Chad. You know what I'm saying? It's like you said. I guess we'll find out more information as we continue to kind of see what's going on with the story. But yeah, treated for minor injuries at an area hospital. After the incident was later released in his home resting with his family, the Browns released in a statement. This is per ESPN and Daniel Oyefusi. Jeez Almighty, the names get me, man, every time. But we'll go ahead and keep an eye on this report. The suspects fled the location in an unknown direction following a verbal dispute. Just a lot going on there. So that's that story. Not really too much to break down. It's just kind of keep people in the know. Obviously, it's one of the Browns' safeties. So something to keep an eye on there. Speaking of safeties, defensive players, let's go ahead and swing over. NFL Network had this, and Ian Rappaport was one of the guys having this coverage. Cleveland Browns hiring Mike Gutenberg as their new defensive coordinator, the Atlanta Falcons pass game defensive coordinator. And Chad, not a big splash. I was seeing people say that, he's a Robert Saleh disciple, that, he was under his wings. He was actually an intern, I believe, back in the day for Joe Gibbs in Washington.
Okay.
So, that's just like some of the things I was seeing online, reading through. What do you think of this? Mike Gutenberg, is he the guy to lead this defense and at least have similar results to Jim Schwartz last year with the Browns?
I mean, I don't know about the results, but he's going to be the guy to lead this defense. Listen, he coached linebackers with the Jets for a while as well. Spent 6 seasons with the Jaguars in various roles on their defense. He was with the Niners in 2020 as well. He was their defensive passing game specialist. I know a lot of people are like, why do you hire a passing game specialist for that? He was defensive passing game. You can there's a defensive side to passing too. But I don't know. I mean, I think just with being under Robert Saleh, it sounds like scheme is going to be pretty similar, or at least he's worked under a similar scheme as to what Jim Schwartz ran here. So,
we lost Chad there for a moment.
Probably not going to pick up exactly where Schwartz left off, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think there's going to be too much. There won't be a huge drastic change on the field. I mean, they're not going to say like Myles Garrett moved to safety or anything crazy, I think it should look pretty much the same. I think it's like you come into this defense and it's like, hey, listen, nothing's really broken. Like, we don't really let's tweak some things here and there. I don't know. Where do you need to improve on this defense?
Well, I'll tell you this. Yeah, hopefully the guy just comes in and makes it smooth. It's been a Monday wonkiness. Rudenberg. The guy has still got me throwing for his last name. I'm over here thinking it could be Gutenberg, it could be Rudenberg. I just hope that he's able to keep it together, Chad, and keep the personalities in check. Obviously, Myles Garrett, obviously we're winding down on the prime of his career, Denzel Ward as well. So really just being able to make sure that these guys are able to stay rocking with what they're doing. It wasn't really broken last year. The big thing, I guess, is like avoiding the big plays that at certain times broke the defense. But also that was because the offense was near last in a lot of categories, or at least the back half of a lot of offensive categories. So that's why you have Todd Monken. You obviously hope the offense turns around. And for Mike Rudenberg with an R, we'll keep an eye on what he has going on there.
Not Gutenberg, not Steve Gutenberg. He's not.
No.
He's not the guy. Oh, interesting.
No. Yeah, no. Crazy. But yeah, I mean, it just seems like the Browns don't ever know how to stay out of the news cycle. At least we have the defensive coordinator filled the position. You know, it seems like this is talks that it may take longer than expected. It really doesn't linger on. The Browns are squared away for free agency, for the draft.
Wait, why did I really think it was Gutenberg for a minute? I really did for a second today.
I know, and yeah, that's what
so
I'm
weird.
saying. Rudenberg with
I'm
an
gonna
R.
call him Gutenberg. I think it's more fun to call him Gutenberg. Listen, hey, it's whatever. You know, he won't mind, will he?
I mean,
Is
if
he
he
gonna
does,
mind?
I guess he's gonna come find us here on the Inside Edge Network.
That's right. He's more than welcome to appear on the show. That's fine. We can have him on here.
You know,
He can be our defensive coordinator.
what do you? Let me ask you this: early on, we got the draft in about what 2 months now, March, April. So, well, how are we feeling now? We got the defensive coordinator in house. No more Jim Schwartz.
Yeah, I
We
thought he
got-
was
we
great
got-
in 3 Men and a Baby. Yeah, I thought he was fantastic. Steve Gutenberg. Yeah, it was fine.
Steve
What-
Gutenberg.
what's the question? I'm
Mike
sorry.
Rudenberg.
Mike
What-
Gutenberg. That's my fault.
How you feel? How you feel about the Browns? How you feel about the draft coming up? How you feel about? Do you feel like this structure? Todd Monken, Rudenberg, Andrew Berry, Jimmy Haslam. Do you think this is the construction that is going to be able to really nail these first-round draft picks? Do you think they go offense, maybe both picks? I've also seen where they maybe trade down out of 6. We've talked about it here on this show many a times about Caleb Downs and
Yeah.
if they take him at 6 if he's there, or do they trade down and get maybe Mekhi Lemon out of USC at receiver? What do they do? I mean, how are you feeling? Just kind of just a vibe check here while we're talking about the Browns.
You know, it's like every day that passes, I feel a little bit differently about the Browns. Like some days I'm optimistic, right? Some days I feel like, okay, well, we've talked about Todd Monken being able to kind of tailor his his offensive scheme for the most part to whatever he has on the roster, and I feel good about that, right? But then on the other hand, you mentioned the other 2 guys, right? Not Rutenberg. I'm not concerned about him drafting. I don't think, you know, I'm sure he'll have some kind of a say in the guys that he wants to bring in, but. I think it's mostly going to be Todd Monken, and then when you mention Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam, it makes me nervous a little bit. I remember that we have those 2 guys at the helm, really. I don't know, not a bad draft, for Andrew Berry. People give him a lot of credit for Mason Graham and for Carson Schlesinger, but we sometimes, I think, forget that he did take 2 quarterbacks. Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round was puzzling. 2 running backs. I mean, it looked like, Quinshon Judkins was off to a really good start. That was a good pick, probably. Going forward, I'll say you'll get some production out of him. And then took Dylan Sampson. That was weird. Whatever. Sampson was okay. I mean, I guess he's a perimeter guy, but the Browns didn't really have an offense that was like really suited to run the ball anywhere. Really, couldn't find any room up the middle. Didn't have time to get guys to the perimeter because just so much penetration off the snap from the defensive line that there's nothing to do. Can't blame the running backs for that. But yeah, I mean, not a great. I wouldn't say it was a great draft last year. I loved Mason Graham. I think he's going to be a really good football player going forward. I don't know if he'll take a huge step forward in year 2, but I think you'll see him get better as he goes. And really, defensive linemen don't get a whole lot of herald anyway. I mean, you're not going to hear his name a ton. Like I said before, he's just kind of there to take up a couple blockers and let guys like Carson Schlesinger roam around freely and make plays, which he did at enough of a clip to win the defensive rookie of the year last year. So again, 2 good picks there. I like Shedeur Sanders. I think he's got upside. I didn't understand the Dylan Gabriel pick. I mean, listen, you get Sanders in the 5th round. People are upset. People call him a bust. How do you call a 5th round draft pick a bust? Like what does that even mean? What are the expectations for a 5th rounder,
with Shedeur, it's always going to be something different because he was supposed to be, and that's the thing, is he was supposed to be a top. I mean, I guess supposed to is a strong word when I guess he was a 5th rounder. But the talk for months leading up to it was he was going to be one of the first quarterbacks off the board. He was a top 10 pick, top 5 pick. Yeah, I mean, so I don't understand went out the window. But nonetheless, I mean, yeah, they did nail on a lot of the draft picks. And so we'll keep an eye on what Barry does, what Monken wants. I mean, because he's going to have a big say in this offense. They don't have a wide receiver one. It's clear. We talked about that. The line is old and injury prone. So we'll keep an eye on that.
With expiring contracts, too. I mean, it's not even like they can bring back half this line reasonably, you know? Yeah.
But now you have David Njoku leaving, too. You know, announcing on Instagram and social media that he's leaving the Browns, going to go find a different home. So that's another thing to keep an eye on. Obviously, they have Harold Fannin, but you're going to need depth at tight end as well. So they're going to have to address this offensive side of the ball quite a bit. So we kind of see what Todd Monken's thinking offensively, which will be interesting enough. So
yeah, I think you'll miss Njoku's dynamic playmaking abilities, but sometimes his hands go away for long stretches of the season. I mean, not even a game. Like, he'll have 4 or 5 games where he has barely a catch, and you think, like, drop passes, and he just, you know, he's not getting open. I don't know. It was just, I love David Njoku, but sometimes it felt like maybe the effort was just sort of dropped off a little bit, you know, when he wasn't getting the ball, which I guess with the quarterback situation last year, I mean, you saw the same thing from Jerry Jeudy a little bit. When it's unpredictable, I guess it's hard to go out there and run a route and, you know, be ready for the ball to be thrown on time and on location every time. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's hard to say.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's also hard to say what when it comes to the Browns and what they're going to do this offseason, what they're going to look like come September when we're celebrating a year here on the Inside Edge Network and kind of figuring out what they're doing going into the 2026 season. So we'll keep an eye on that here. And do also want to remind you that we have the Guardians coming up here. And we have our Inside Edge Guardians preview show on February 18th. That is, this Wednesday.
Yeah.
So 2 days from now at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll have that going on, Chad and I, and we'll also have our program director, Double A Anthony Alford, with his premiere of Midnight Run with Anthony Alford. That's at midnight to 1 a.m. So we'll have Jersey Chasers with Autumn and Christie, the Inside Edge Inside Edge Guardians preview show, which will fill in for prime time that night. So Chad and I, Rob and Autumn will be on that show, and then Midnight Run with Anthony Alford, midnight to 1. So a lot of stuff going on, Chad. At that point, you'll have your candle from Alley Rose Fragrances. So anybody out there that wants to join Chad, Inside Edge 20 for your 20% off code on your entire order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, the official sponsor of the Inside Edge Network. And with that, we're going to take a quick pause here. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Olympics. We're going to talk about some other stories that maybe swept under the rug. Jerome Tang. We're going to keep an eye on that situation as that continues to kind of keep going. It's not over yet. They fired him. Kansas State fired him. We'll talk about what's transpiring there and some other stories, and we'll get out of here on this Monday edition. A wacky one, technical difficulty, to Papa Moon appearance, Rudenberg, Gutenberg. We have had everything you could absolutely imagine, but thank you for choosing us as your source of sports, entertainment, mental health, and everything in between here on the Inside Edge Network. We cannot do without all of y'all out there tuning in. So for Chad Bryan to my right, your left, I'm Eli Moon. We're going to come right back here, final segment of this Monday edition of Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon. Again, this is Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. We have one more segment here on this Monday edition. Chad, we're going to start with the good old Winter Olympics because they're still in swing here. We're going to talk about the hockey matchup with USA and Canada. We'll get into that more, I think, in depth as the week goes on, but we can definitely talk about that. But just wanted to get your thoughts here as the Winter Olympics continue to pick up. Just a lot of interesting stories going on, but it seems like hockey's taking the forefront here with not only the women, but the men as well, as they kind of ramp up here for bracket play as well.
Yeah, I mean, you had the rare Olympic fight between the men's teams the other night, U.S. and Canada. I thought that was interesting. You don't normally see that in the Olympics. But I don't know, man. I feel like I look at hockey fights and it's like hockey fights aren't the same as fights in other sports, right? You watch a fight in baseball, or we saw the fight the other night in the NBA, and we thought, wow, that's crazy. I mean, guys leaving the bench. In a hockey fight, you're like, oh, okay, here two bros had a disagreement. They're gonna swing it out, and then they're gonna shake hands, and everything's gonna be fine. The referee's standing right there, right? The officials are there. I kind of like, in a way, like I don't condone fighting. I don't think you should fight, but in hockey, it just feels like, oh, it's so commonplace. It's not a big deal. It surprises me that it hasn't really, bled into the Olympics at all. But I guess it's supposed to be more about sportsmanship and competition rather than fighting and battles or whatever. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, the women's team. I mean, like I said, we'll talk about it later on this week on the show. I guess tomorrow night, really, or because Thursday we'll know the results. But yeah, we'll get into it more tomorrow night. But yeah, I mean, the women's team is the U.S. women's team 6-0. They've outscored their opponents 31-1 in the Olympics so far, up to date. So again, it'll be old hat. The U.S. and Canada playing for gold 7 out of 8 times. I think since women's hockey has been added to the Olympic lineup that U.S. and Canada have met for the gold medal. So I mean, these two teams know each other, at least in the sense of the two organizations, right? I mean, may not be all the same players, but very familiar with each other as far as Olympic committees and Olympic organizations go. Just a fun matchup. I mean,
that'll be cool. I'm excited for that. And like I said, I mean, the women's has been real cool to follow, the women's hockey team, that is. Mm-hmm. I think it's also been cool to follow, this men's hockey team has no Olympians on it, right? Like, I think 2 or 3 actually going into it this year. And to see what they're doing, they advanced to the quarterfinals, they routed Germany, took care of them. They are in a position where they can go win gold, and I think it's so cool. It's not like Miracle on Ice, but it's a lot of inexperience there. And it's cool to see Zach Werenski. Obviously, I got to see him with the Monsters win the Calder Cup championship here in Cleveland in 2016, do the Blue Jackets organization. I think it's been so cool to follow, and hockey's taking the forefront right now. There's some other stories that have kind of come across here, too. Today, U.S. bobsledder Elena Myers-Taylor has her first Olympic gold medal at 41 years old. She's a mother of 2. She's now tied with speed skater Bonnie Blair for the most Winter Olympic medals by a U.S. woman with 6. And she's the oldest Winter Olympian ever to win a gold medal in an individual event.
Awesome.
So that was through Yahoo Sports. I saw the article through. So, Chad, I'm just telling you, man, there is hope for you out there.
Hey, well, listen, I'm not a mom. Moms can do anything.
Not that part, but
me not so much. I don't know. I have a lot of faith in moms. I have a lot of faith in the female athletes out there. Me, not so much. We'll see.
Yeah, that's fair.
We'll see.
But the
real
age part, the age part, you're not that far off, and the Winter Olympics only another 4 years away. So
yeah.
And if you're really trying to do summer, it's only 2 years away. So think about it. You get it in a lower.
I may need the 4 years to just to knock the dust off. Honestly,
yeah.
I think a little bit of dust, a little bit of rust, all the stuff you don't want on there. I think I'll need to knock some of that off, and then we might be okay.
Yeah, no,
we'll have to find an event for me to compete in. It'll have to be something that requires very little athletic ability. I've lost all that; it's gone. Well, it's not gone. It's probably in there somewhere. I just haven't accessed it for a while. So I think, in this sense, it's if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
Seems accurate in this sense.
Yeah.
I think I'm safely there.
I feel it. Well, shout out nonetheless, Elena Myers-Taylor. All joking aside, very cool. Like I said, 41, the oldest Olympian to win gold medal. Yeah, Winter Olympian that is, and a mother of two. So like, that's a tough job. My sister is a mom of two. I've seen how hard she works. So to do that and be an Olympian, I mean, that's incredible work. So shout out to her.
It's amazing.
And, yeah, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
All right, Chad, we're going to break down one more story here before we get our final.
Oh, did you want to do the medal count real quick? Did you want to do the updated
Oh, my
medal
goodness.
count?
Yes, please. 1 second. Boo, boo, boo. All right, go ahead. Hit us with the medal
That's
count.
okay. I worked so hard to type a couple of these numbers in here. We got to do something. Norway still leads the way. That's huge. 28 medals overall. They've got 12 golds. That's an actual That's an actual picture of the real gold medals from this year's Olympics, by the way. There.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun, right? Italy, the host country, still hanging in there at second. They've got 23 total medals, 8 golds. And the U.S. is still hanging in at third. We've got 19 total medals, so dropping off the pace of Norway a little bit. Norway is widening the gap, Eli, as you might expect them to in the Winter Olympics. It seems like a strength of theirs. But the U.S. has 6 gold medals, so still hanging in there at the moment. Yeah, but that's your
Well,
updated.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. That's our medal count here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad worked very hard on that. We'll have an update here tomorrow for you with some updated numbers. We'll see if the U.S. can catch up to Norway.
Different numbers. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Absolutely. Let's get into the story we talked about at the end of last week, Chad. It was a rant by Kansas State then head coach Jerome Tang. Now it is former head coach Jerome Tang of Kansas State. CBS Sports reported that Kansas State fired their head coach Jerome Tang after cause. Fired with cause is the reasoning. And basically, athletic director Gene Taylor from CBS Sports announced that this was a decision that was made in the best interest of our university and men's basketball program. Recent public comments and conduct, in addition to the program's overall direction, have not aligned with K-State standards for supporting student athletes or representing the university. We wish Coach Tang and his family all the best moving forward. Head coach or former head coach Jerome Tang said, I am deeply disappointed with the university's decision and strongly disagree with the characterization of my termination. I've always acted with integrity and faithfully fulfilled my responsibilities as head coach. I am grateful to the players, staff, and fans who make this program so special. I remain proud of what we built together and confident that I have always acted in the best interest of the university and our student athletes. Associate head coach Matthew Driscoll has been named the interim head coach for the rest of the season. Chad, your thoughts on this as we kind of talked about maybe it was a little over the line with Jerome Tang last week saying that some players didn't deserve to wear the uniform and some wouldn't be in the uniform next year and kind of got a little crazy. But was this maybe a little bit too far from Kansas State to fire their head coach who, mind you, they just had a great March Madness run, I believe, last year? So, I mean, was this the right call?
Well, listen, I don't know. I mean, Kansas State gets to make whatever decision they want to make, but some legal experts think that they might actually have a hard time making this stick up. As far as being able to fire him with cause and not having to, I've read a lot of on this already today. Some legal experts think that the two sides might end up settling. It'll be, probably out of the public eye. We'll never know what the actual settlement was for. But yeah, as far as firing Tang with cause and not having to pay him some portion of whatever he's owed, on remaining on that contract, it may be a little bit murky. But I mean, you and I talked about, I think this is, that language is kind of, it's a little vague, right? As far as bringing whatever they said to the program. I mean, you and I said, maybe he should keep this in house. I don't have a problem with the message at all. I think if I'm a player and I'm in the locker room and, my coach says those things to us as a team, I'm not going to walk out of there offended. I mean, I might walk out of there, a little upset. And like I said, I'd probably come back the next day and practice a little bit harder and try to get back in the good graces of my coach and remind him of why we're scholarship athletes at Kansas State or whatever, wherever that happens. But saying it to the media, it felt like a different, I told you, it's going to be hard to go back after this, right? Obviously, Kansas State's administration felt the same way. They let him go. They fired him for cause. But this story, again, the story may not be over yet. Just a quick moment of frustration in one press conference leads to this whole domino effect of, these things fall. And for the record, they did give him a choice, by the way, to finish the season out at a reduced amount on his contract. He did not accept that. I don't know that I blame him necessarily, right? You sign the contract. I mean, you're there to coach for whatever the number of years was for the set amount of money. I don't necessarily know that I blame him for not taking that opportunity, but I think the two sides could have avoided the public, this is going to be a mess going forward a little bit. And I guess it depends on, Kansas State, not a huge nationally, renowned basketball program. If this happened at Arizona or Duke or Miami of Ohio, no kidding, Arizona or Duke, I think it's, it would, I think, cause a little bit more of a ripple effect maybe in the sports world. But it kind of went under the radar. I mean, I just noticed it last week. I scrolled across the Twitter video and I thought, man, it caught my ear because I usually don't hear coaches say things like that about their players publicly. You may hear stories of coaches saying things like that, like I said, in the locker room or in practice or whatever, privately to the team.
Yeah, but not
It
to the
felt like it was
media.
taking a little too far, though. Yeah.
Yeah, not to the media. And, like I said, Tang had an Elite Eight appearance in his first season. They've struggled since. He's spent 4 seasons there. It seems like they were wanting a change. This kind of just soured out on them where, okay, guess what? This isn't the same appeal as when you first got here. And they're looking for a change. We'll see if it sticks or if they're going to be running into some problem with the contract, having to pay that up. But one thing's for certain, Kansas State's looking for a new basketball coach. Yeah, Chad. Kinda
Check
crazy.
Indeed. I mean, I don't know where they list those kind of things, but update your resume if you want to coach Kansas State. Get the resume up to date.
Hit the resume.
There you go.
With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into our final thoughts here of this Monday edition of Primetime. Chad, go ahead and kick us off. You got final thoughts for the peeps out there?
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you have something inflammatory to say, something explosive, something controversial, keep it in house, right? I think a lot of we get mad sometimes at coaches for the coach speak. How many times do you think Kevin Stefanski wanted to go up to the podium after a Browns loss and after a frustrating fill in the situation, right? Whether it was, your starting quarterback getting traded after week 5 to a division rival or whatever, all the things that we've asked Kevin Stefanski about over the last 6 seasons that, he was here in Cleveland. And the answer was always, oh, that's on me. I got to be better. And we got tired of hearing it. But could you imagine if he had been like, hey, listen, Gabriel stinks, man. He doesn't have what it takes to wear a Browns jersey or a helmet. Quite frankly, I don't know if he's going to be here next year. Shedeur Sanders stinks. We got him over at Baldwin Wallace throwing the ball boys. Jerry Hootie, right? Like, what could you imagine if he just came out and said these things? Like, we'd be like, whoa, like,
yeah, crazy.
is this guy Antonio Brown on us? Like, he's just done, right? He's gonna take off his shirt and run off the field, and that's it. He's gonna be done. So I think sometimes we it's weird. Like, we don't want the coach speak, but then when we get the honesty, we're like, whoa, back up, coach. Like, we didn't need to hear all that. So sometimes as fans, I think it's hard to please us. But yeah, I guess we learned, try to keep it in house, try to be more like Kevin Stefanski, less like Jerome Tang.
That's what we learned there, and what I learned as well is that the springtime is upon us almost. It's we talked about at the beginning of the show, mid-60s or mid-50s rather, almost 60 degrees. I'm loving it, which means baseball's right around the corner. Very excited for the Guardians. Very excited for just spring activities.
Yeah.
Just getting outside and going on walks in nature again. So that's what I've kind of gathered here as this week starts up. It's going to be a nice week here in Ohio. So very excited for all that. Not too much. It's kind of a lull period right now, but, NBA starts back up here on the 19th. So, end of this week, we'll get NBA back. So we'll keep an eye on that. But until then, just kind of rocking and rolling, Chad. Can't lie. Just rocking
Hey,
and rolling.
Cavs regular season games have meaning now. We can watch and we can try to dissect every little thing that happens now between
You're damn right.
James Harden and the rest of the roster. So it's fun.
You're damn right. You're damn right. Well, hey, Chad and I are going to be back here with you tomorrow. Another edition here, 10 o'clock on Inside Edge Primetime. And then Wednesday, of course, we will not have Primetime. We'll have our Inside Edge Network's Cleveland Guardians preview show. Chad and I, the main event, Rob Rizicki as well, and Autumn from Jersey Chasers will be doing the Guardians preview show. And then Midnight Run with Anthony Alford right after that at midnight to 1. Jersey Chasers to kick all of that off around 7:30. Keep an eye on that Wednesday. But tomorrow, Conversations with Eli Moon at 7 o'clock. So I'll be doing that. And then 10 o'clock, Chad and I, Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Thanks for choosing us as your source of sports, entertainment, mental health, and everything in between. Give us a follow at the Inside Edge Net on all the socials. And give Chad a follow, myself a follow. Stay locked in when we go live. Until then, we're going to take a sign off. We're just going to sign off. We're not going to take the sign off. Because
we can't take it anywhere. We're going to leave it right here. Yeah.
We're going to leave the signs here. But what we're going to do is we are going to sign off, and we're going to come back here tomorrow. We're going to have all the sports stories to chat about. Until then, stay safe. We love you. And, yeah, see you tomorrow.